Bloody hell, that was a good night of wrestling, hey? And we're just getting started. WrestleMania week has just begun. NXT TakeOver, what happened, that is on the channel now. But I'm not here to talk about NXT TakeOver. I'm here to give you your daily dose of professional wrestling news. Let's take a look at the headlines. Top WWE stars are returning to the company soon. We got an update on the rumoured Adam Cole versus Shawn Michaels match. And Seth Rollins has been talking about the benefits of WWE's Thunderdome. We'll tell you more in a bit. Kicking things off with some news regarding two top WWE superstars who we've not seen on our screens for a little while now. We are talking today about Ronda Rousey and Becky Lynch. So obviously we've not seen Ronda Rousey on WWE TV since WrestleMania 35, all the way back in April of 2019, and Becky Lynch left our screens last year in May. Nick Khan, the Chief Revenue Officer of WWE, has provided an update on the return of both of those superstars. Speaking to Colin Cowherd, Khan confirmed that they will both be returning, saying, Ronda is going to be coming back at a certain point in time. More interesting though, Becky Lynch just had her first baby. She will be coming back at a certain point in time in the not too distant future. So we don't know when that's going to be, but it sounds like specifically with Becky Lynch, we won't have to wait too long to see her back on TV. It could happen, I think personally, as soon as the Raw after Mania. She has unfinished business on Raw. If Asuka retains the title, will we see her go into a feud straight away with Asuka, the woman that she relinquished the belt to after announcing her pregnancy, and that really poignant, I don't want to call it a promo, that in-ring bit. So there's loads of possibilities there. I feel like with Becky Lynch, she's somebody who, I certainly wasn't growing tired of her, but actually I've enjoyed a bit of time off of Becky Lynch, who was so prominently featured in the women's division. She's always been great, but you know, absence makes the heart grow fonder and all that, and I'm actually really buzzing about a Becky Lynch return, and as I say, it sounds like that could happen sooner rather than later. Also, and I would take this one with a chunky grain of salt, to say the least, Kairi Sane has taken to Twitter, retweeting Bayley, who said, "Never come back, Kairi Sane." Kairi Sane, quote retweeting that with a video of her as Captain Jack Sparrow approaching on a pirate ship, perhaps indicating that she's going to be there at the showcase of the Immortals. I don't see it happening at all, but an interesting one nonetheless. I would love to see Kairi back. I feel like we're being robbed. You know, we're probably not going to see Kairi and that pirate ship in the same shot, and that seems like an absolute tragedy. But we will see. This is not going to happen, is it? But we miss you, Kairi. Next up, an update on Big Cass, who made his return very recently to the independent wrestling scene. He looks better than ever, a man who has had a pretty difficult few years, but has really turned his life around. He's looking in better shape than ever. And it turns out that a certain Impact Wrestling star, who also pops up on AEW, has been recommending Big Cass to management. This comes from Fightful Select, who say that Luke Gallows has been speaking to higher-ups about the possibility of bringing in Big Cass. Gallows apparently saying people have to ask about a guy like that. Now, it's not been specified which higher-ups he's been speaking to. You've got to believe that it's probably Impact Wrestling, but who knows? He might have had a bit of a chinwag with Tony Khan. Personally, I would love to see Big Cass back on TV. Obviously, he had a bit of a naff run in WWE. After splitting away from Enzo, he did the feud with Daniel Bryan, and then that was pretty much it for him. But he's a guy who has made such a huge amount of progress in his own personal life, and he's spoken very openly about some of his the personal issues and the mental health issues that he had been dealing with, and I really do just think he deserves another chance to show what he can do on a big stage. And whether it was in Impact Wrestling or maybe AEW or even back in WWE, I would personally love to see him in a wrestling ring once again to prove what he can really do. So we'll keep you updated on that. Next up, now recently, rumours were flying all over the shop regarding a possible Adam Cole versus Shawn Michaels match, following the little stare down that they had on NXT TV. Triple H has commented on this, appearing on Pardon My Take, squashing any possibility of the match happening. He said, when Shawn was leaving, he ran into Adam Cole backstage and they had a moment and Shawn walked off. The internet blew up with people saying, oh my god, what if, what a tease, it's the ultimate match. What they don't know is that 3 minutes prior to that, when Shawn's music hit and he was walking out to the stage, his left knee gave out and he started dancing because he almost fell off the stage. His left knee is so bad that it buckled on him while he was walking down the ramp. That match isn't going to happen. And I'm not going to sit here and be like, well, never say never. That sounds pretty damn decisive, doesn't it? But never say never. No. I don't think it's going to happen. You know, like 10 years ago even, it's a match that I would have loved to, maybe a little bit long. Both men in their prime, it would have been an absolute epic, but we all know that they probably couldn't pull it off now. Even with the immense talent of Cole, the experience of Shawn Michaels, it sounds like Shawn's body is falling apart. But, well, I'm sure they're going to do another Saudi Arabia show soon, so if it is going to happen, it's not going to happen. It's not. Triple H said so himself. Next up, Mark Henry has been bigging up Big Daddy Walter big time. He's been speaking to BT Sport and said, I feel like Walter is the cream of the crop. I think Walter should be a world champion within the next 2 or 3 years. It's all up to him. If he stays healthy and he wants to get better, you will see Walter as a world champion. Yes, please. Yes, please. The guy is so unbelievably unique. We've just seen what could turn out to be a match of the year contender. Him and Ciampa. If you've not seen it yet, you need to go and watch it because it was absolutely brutal. It was so good. I love the finish especially. Walter is something else. A sort of a bit of a throwback, but with a contemporary twist. He is just magnificent. He really is. And also, Finn Balor revealing during an interview with Steel Chair magazine that he's still keen for that match with Walter. That was the original plan when they were going to do a takeover in Dublin. Obviously, that didn't happen, but he's still keen to do it. Finn Balor saying there's obviously a huge possibility in the future that we'll be back on Raw or back on SmackDown, but something that really interests me is a return to NXT UK. I've been very keen to wrestle Walter for a long time, and that match got taken away from us by COVID. Hopefully the world is starting to return a little bit to more normality, and hopefully in the future we will get that match with me and Walter. Another one, yes please. Yes please. I don't see it happening while both men are champions, but who knows? Who knows? If Finn's going to be champion following tomorrow night, NXT TakeOver, or maybe Walter will drop the belt to Rampage. Who knows? Who knows? But it's a match that I think we would all love to see. Next up, Seth Rollins, also doing the rounds ahead of WrestleMania, appearing on the Out of Character podcast for an interview. And he's been talking about the benefits of performing in the Thunderdome, and an interesting quote from him here. He said, I still think social media plays quite a role in how the shows are written and how the characters are portrayed. The Thunderdome has allowed us to tell our stories a little cleaner in the sense that things aren't up and down as they may normally be. Whether that's good or bad, I'm not entirely sure. I miss the fans and live interaction, but I like being able to cut a promo and getting all the way through without having to side-eye the audience. It's nice to get a thought out without being interrupted by CM Punk chants. I totally understand what he's saying here. I think there are benefits to being in the Thunderdome as far as from WWE's standpoint. Yeah, they can tell the story they want to tell. They can pipe in the reaction that they want the superstars to have without the audience hijacking the show, for want of a better word. But also, it's not the same without a live crowd. And some of the best WWE storylines have come about because of, I guess, crowd rebellion and the crowd being such an integral part of the shows themselves. So an interesting point there from Seth Rollins, and another mention of CM Punk, who is definitely returning to WWE soon. And before I go, we now know the full match card for tomorrow night, NXT TakeOver Stand and Deliver Part 2, following the Eliminator Gauntlet match that we saw. If you've not seen the show, click away now. See you later. Much appreciated. But we now know that it's going to be Johnny Gargano versus Bronson Reed for the NXT North American Championship, which again should be an absolutely brilliant match. Little versus large. It's going to be great. It was such a good night of wrestling tonight. I'm still absolutely buzzing, and it's not just the three cans of Red Bull that I've just consumed. Definitely not. Thank you to everybody who watched the live reactions with me tonight. I'll be there same time tomorrow night. You've also got me for SmackDown, for WrestleMania's nights 1 and 2, for the Raw after Mania, for NXT, for AEW, and for the Friday night SmackDown after WrestleMania as well. So keep an eye on the channel. Make sure your notifications are on. Take care of yourselves. See you soon.